online polling data by our partners on the online world, SurveyMonkey, and of course NBC News, on what Americans think about the threat of ISIS post-Paris. First off, a major change in the country's attitude since the spring. A majority now feel that the U.S. government is not doing well in reducing the threat of terrorism. 53% say that now. That compares to 37% who said that back in April. Not surprising considering the amount of coverage and what happened. Back here at home, 54% are worried that a member of their own family could be a victim of a terrorist attack. By the way, the average so far this year by Gallup, who asked that same question, is 49%, so a slight tick up there. The sentiment of despair is even clearer on this question. 70% in the United States believe that the U.S. and its allies are losing the fight against ISIS. Again, considering the amount of coverage, those numbers probably shouldn't be surprising with all of that string of terrorist attacks that took place in a 3-week period. And at the same time, 2/3 of the country support more U.S. ground troops to fight ISIS in Iraq and Syria. In fact, the partisan breakdown on that question shows that it's an overwhelming majority of Republicans, more than half of Democrats, and nearly 2/3 of independents all agree on the idea of sending more troops into that region. 58%, by the way, say overwhelming use of military force is the best way to beat terrorism, while 38% believe that using military force like that creates hatred and leads to more terrorism. And when it comes to the issue of extensive surveillance and security checks in public places like stadiums, movie theaters, and shopping malls, a whopping 81% of Americans right now believe that would be just fine with them. And finally, on the political hot potato of the question of refugees, a majority tell us, 56%, that they disapprove of the decision to accept more refugees fleeing violence in Syria and other countries. Again, on this question, most independents side with Republicans on this issue, while 2/3 of Democrats approve of letting more refugees into the country. We'll have much more on these numbers throughout the hour. We'll also